Resilience isn't about strength. It begins with compassionate inward listening, like the nautilus. We most need resiliency when facing failure, as we undertake things that move us closer to who we want to be, or further from who we don't want to be. Researchers call these future projected images of ourselves hoped for or feared possible selves. We all imagine possible selves we'd like to become or avoid becoming. When mentally activated, these possible selves can move us to act and self-regulate in the present. Take, for example, interpreting students here at MIIS. A number of them have long dreamt of becoming a UN interpreter, and some of them do. Imagining this possible self in the future is what prompted them to master their foreign languages, apply to the program, and pay the tuition. In short, they have transformed themselves transformed this possible self into a long-term goal and committed to it. Day to day, that image of their possible self sustains them, helping them set intermediate goals and self-regulate to meet them. With each achievement, their possible self seems increasingly attainable. But sometimes we encounter unexpected setbacks, large and small, threats to our possible self, such as failing an exam or a course, or simply discovering that we aren't actually very good at what we're trying to do, or don't enjoy it. Suddenly, the possible feels impossible. Then, we may abandon our dreams and drop out, or doggedly persevere, doing whatever it takes, or find a different path through, even reimagining a completely new possible self. Setbacks, when they hit, are stressful. How we react depends largely on our threat attributions. We may get mad because we see the threat as external, something that happened to us. We may despair because we see the problem as internal and unfixable. Or we may recognize that there's something we can do to fix the problem. Coping means dealing with such stress. When we experience something as a threat, we get stressed, consider what to do about it, and then execute a response. Let's say I fear I'll be embarrassed because I'm going to be late. I think, I could just drive fast. If I act on that thought, I speed. Coping can be problem-focused, that is, focused on altering the source of the stress. These strategies include planning, taking direct action, seeking help, dropping competing activities, or even biding one's time. We tend to cope in this way when we feel something constructive can be done. But coping can be also emotion-focused, that is, focused on reducing or managing the distress. These strategies include acceptance, positively reframing the event, seeking social support. We tend to cope this way when we feel we can't do anything about the stressor and it has to be endured. Some common coping strategies are helpful, others less so, like denial, obsessing, venting, mentally disengaging. These may serve as pressure valves or painkillers in the moment, but they don't resolve anything. Remember, coping refers to our in-the-moment response to stress. It can be really helpful to practice mindfulness. Be non-judgmentally aware of what we're actually experiencing in the moment. There's now a course for that here at MIIS, Mindfulness for Interpreters. It's not just for interpreters, anyone can enroll. Longer term, resiliency to failure takes what psychologist Angela Duckworth calls grit. It's about perseverance, passion, long-term goals, stick-to-itiveness. Actively achieving great things in the real world takes more than talent or intellectual ability. It takes grit, sustained, focused application of talent over time. As Duckworth says, gritty individuals approach achievement as a marathon. Their advantage is stamina. Their initial talent may not be as exceptional as their peers, but sustained commitment is their strength. In the end, they can achieve far greater things than their originally more talented peers. Take, for example, Sarah. She grew up multilingually, but her first translation classes here revealed that none of those languages was actually 100% native. She struggled. But Sarah's got grit. She knew what she wanted, dug in, worked like heck, and proved everyone wrong. She's now a UN interpreter. How do you get grit? Find resilience. First, it's about being true to and compassionate towards yourself. It's easier to be gritty when you listen inwardly to what you really desire, who you really are, and want to be. That, again, is mindfulness, which can be learned. But no matter how gritty we may be, we can't stand alone. Not really. Paradoxically, real resilience comes when we let ourselves need each other, ask for help, and in those moments when our own legs buckle beneath us, we need to let ourselves be carried. The fact is, we don't even exist on our own, though we tend to think we do because, like all organisms, we have a barrier, our skin, that separates our insides from the outside world. But that's what clinical psychologist Tara Brach calls the small self. When our sense of self expands beyond that illusion of separateness, when what we're striving for becomes something bigger than ourselves and our own success, that's when we tap into a deep wellspring of resilience that also goes beyond our own inner resources. Resilience in realizing hoped for possible self, even in the face of inevitable heartaches or failure, isn't about being tough. It comes with self-awareness and compassion, not trying to stoically stand alone, and embracing aspirations beyond our own success.